This seems like an awful construction here. But we're going to roll with it. First Pokemon that I picked out was Crowdon, and I don't know how I feel about that. So, hello everybody, this is DKG's Avos. We've got mostly a new team, at least new to this week. The only things that are still here from anything that we had last week would be Klefki and Venusaur. So, we got Xatu out, which I kind of expected to be the first one out, but had that not been Xatu, we would have been in a lot of trouble. So we do have Assault Vest on this Crowdon, but I also know that Xatu has Psychic and a couple other things on him. So I don't know exactly what to expect out of Xatu, but I expect Psychic being weak to Dark to be a bit of an issue. So, with that, he's going to switch into Togekiss. I'm going for Knockoff. I'm going to clear whatever items on there, which is really helpful. Got the Lumberry out, which I really enjoyed. So now, Paralysis not exactly going to be the biggest thing on Crowdon because he's already pretty slow. I've got the Assault Vest, so I should be able to resist most of the issues that I'm going to have. So really, I'm just going to go for Aqua Jet here and see what kind of damage I can do with Crowdon. He's not max attack, so the Dazzling Gleam. Alright, so the Assault Vest did help us out there. Nice little scouting bit there. The Assault Vest is really what made the big difference, but with that in mind, we can't really keep him in anymore. The Lumberry is knocked off, so we're going to be able to set up against Togekiss with whatever we want. But I think we're going to be alright. Dazzling Gleam is going to knock off our Air Balloon, which kind of sucks, but there's not a whole lot on this team that really had Earthquake anyway, so there's not a whole lot to worry about there. The fighting moves are going to be the only thing that we have to worry about with that. I imagine that Togekiss was going to be pulled out, probably Xatu coming back in, because I have a tendency to set up with Togekiss. So I want to do some sort of damage. I'm not going to do a whole lot here, but at least Play Rough is going to be able to do something. Unfortunately, with Rocky Helmet there, it's just not going to do a whole lot to help us. And now we have to think about what he's got available. Psychic could be coming out, but I doubt it. And so we're kind of going in for a little bit of death fodder here, just to scout things out. Crowdon, we weakened up, and the best scenario was that we got Psychic. The worst scenario was that we didn't get Psychic, and we have to stay in against it. But it looks like he's going to stay in with Birdman. We're going to take the Rocky Helmet damage, do a little bit of damage, but it was kind of the closing remark. For the most part, we were just going to be screwed a little bit. So Roost is going to come in here. Knockoff might have been a better choice, but I was really worried that he might have a move that would do something better to us. Alright, so this is a huge risk that we're taking at this point. We're going in for Walrein. And I'm worried about Darmanitan. That's the biggest worry that I've got going on. But we're going to go for a little bit of neutral damage here. He's going to throw out the Toxic, but we do have Leftovers. Leftovers should regenerate that first turn worth of Toxic, and then about half of the second turn. So we should be okay. Crunch is going to do a decent chunk of damage, but Rocky Helmet damage, man oh man. So we're at 181. Toxic should take us back down to about 181. Perfect. First turn will regenerate that same amount with lefties. Now with the Rocky Helmet damage, I really don't want to leave too much in there. But I can't switch anything out against Psychic, because the rest of the team is still weak to Psychic. Keeping Crowdon alive at that point would have been really helpful, but kind of lost that chance, didn't we? I guess our biggest chance here is to go for Hail. And try and do something. Regenerate a little bit of HP. Do some every turn damage to whatever switches in, including our own Pokemon, but we should be okay with that. Now we should be regenerating the same amount of HP that we're going to lose this turn with leftovers and Ice Body. So we got one more turn left that we can try and do something. But he might just use Protect and try and stall us out that one extra turn. There we go, right back down to 181. So we have taken 0 damage from Toxic so far. 0 damage. The obvious choice here would be going for Klefki, trying to get that Fairy type out to resist any Dark move, but I feel like I should be okay bringing out Nidoking. He's decently bulky. We should be alright. Now we're both going to get hit by Hail, which is going to suck a little bit, but now we don't have to worry about being Toxic stalled, and we should be okay with that. Now we've got Nidoking out, and he's our Life Orb Sheer Force kind of sweeper. He's really bulky. I'm going to go for Sludge Bomb here. I was kind of hoping for a switch just to see what he was going to do, but it looks like Sludge Bomb isn't going to do nearly enough. I'd really like to have him do more than that, but not happening. Unfortunate. Now we could go for Thunderbolt, we could go for Fire Blast, we could go for Ice Beam. Any of those moves would still be pretty viable, but unfortunately it's just not doing enough. So we're going to switch out, get the Protect. We're going to see what we're going to be able to do. Now again, normally my kind of normal mode of operation would be go for Parahacks, try and do something to the Pokemon that's switching in, because I don't imagine that he's going to want his Umbreon really get to stay in one spot. And it looks like Togekiss is going to come out here. We're going to hit some Swagger on, try and get him to do some damage to himself in Confusion. I was really hoping that with as little HP as we left that Xatu, I didn't think that he could really afford bringing it back in on a play rough. So we went that route. I knew he didn't want knowing that we've got play rough on Klefki, I knew that he didn't want to leave Umbreon out against play rough and to have it swaggered or parahaxed. So Togekiss is getting confused and now paralyzed, so we should be able to outspeed it. We don't have to worry about too many of its threats. It's got Dazzling Gleam, which shouldn't do that much to Klefki. Klefki is a pretty good all-around defender. We should be alright. We get some Confuse hacks, which is really nice. And I don't know if Togekiss is really going to want to stay in here at this point. It's a little bit of a risk. I don't think Togekiss is going to stay in, but apparently it does. I've increased its attack, so Foul Play not going to do that much, but might do a little bit. Again, trying to get some hacks going, but it looks like we're doing alright. I was predicting the switch, got a little over-predicted there, but you know what, now we're just going to try and finish it off. Play Rough not going to do that much, but it's a nice stab move, so we're just going to go for it. Get rid of that Togekiss, be alright. I really don't think Xatu's really going to want to switch in on Klefki with as little HP as we left it. We do have Foul Play, so it's going to be super effective. His attack stat not that great, but there's really not a whole lot that we can do about it. He's going to do a little bit of damage to us with the Rocky Helmet, but we can't do anything with Magic Bounce being a thing. And I really feel like with Psychic being around, we're not going to have to worry about it. Play Rough has a base damage of 90, so I feel like it should clear out Xatu pretty well. We still have Klefki around, so we can keep it alive a little bit longer. Our biggest threat at the moment is kind of that Darmanitan, Life Orb Sheer Force. It is pretty quick. We'd like to slow it down a little bit, try and get a word in edgewise. Really, I'd like to get some sort of Confuse on it. But it looks like we got ourselves a lovely, lovely Ludicolo. have a good time with him. But the nice thing is he doesn't have anything that's going to bounce back T-Wave, so we're going to slow it down. It's not like it's fast or anything, but I'd like to prevent it from being able to do anything more to us. He usually has Drain Punch, and it looks like Focus Blast is actually going to hit. Oh, that's not good. Ow. Really hoping for some Parahacks there. Didn't get him. Unfortunate. Now, if we had Freeze Dry would be 4 times super effective against this Ludicolo. Unfortunately, we don't. We've already shown off the fact that we've got Sludge Bomb, so I really imagine that Ludicolo is not going to stick around here. But there's not a whole lot of other choice that we've got. We have to go for Sludge Bomb here. We don't want to sacrifice Nidoking to anything else. We got to clear out that Ludicolo if he stays in, and we're going to do some sort of neutral. It's going to be neutral damage to anything else that switches in, and it's going to be stab. So we should. Keeping Nidoking in was the best choice that we had. Alright, Cincino. We're going to see some Rock Blast. He's got Skill Link, so that 5-turn move, I don't think Nidoking's really going to deal with that so well. So what we're going to do is switch into Walrein. He's a special defensive bulky Pokemon, but I don't see him being that well utilized anywhere else. So I'm sacrificing him a little bit. It sucks to lose him. I'd really like to keep him around, but I'm not seeing a whole lot else. It's either Walrein or losing Nidoking, and I'd rather lose Walrein over Nidoking. Cincino's really quick, so this is one of those that we'd really like to paralyze as well. And I mean, it really sucks losing Walrein, but it is what it is. Cincino should go ahead, clear it out, either Rock Blast or Bullet Seed. Doesn't really matter. Critical did pretty well there. I don't know if that made the difference on the knockoff. It didn't really matter, I don't think. But now we have to worry about a few different things here. We do have Focus Blast on Typhlosion. He is Choice Scarfed. And he does a decent chunk of damage, so we're hoping that Focus Blast hits here. And we're kind of locked into it. Oh, he's got the... Focus Sash. Oh, Typhlosion. He has max HP, though. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. That did not feel good at all. Didn't feel good in the slightest. Don't have much of a choice. Can't switch anything else on this Cincino. Gotta go for it. Alright, looks like Darmanitan. I really don't want to switch anything out, but, I mean, we gotta go for the Focus Blast, hope it hits hard. And it looks like it did. Nicely done. It hit and hit pretty hard. I'm hoping that we don't miss. The third one we're probably going to miss. But we hit it. Alright, so Darmanitan is dealt with. That was a risky switch. I think he was either expecting me to switch, a little over-predicted maybe, or expecting Focus Blast to miss on one of those two shots. It is what it is. But you know what? Everything here is weak to fighting. So we just got to do what we got to do. And it looks like we're getting great luck with Focus Blast. That's insane. Insane. Nobody gets that lucky with Focus Blast. Nobody. Nobody on the planet gets this lucky with Focus Blast. Unfortunately, as bulky as he is, we don't get to play with it too much. But we got one more shot. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch out Typhlosion. Because we've got Cincino down so far, Focus Blast is an off-stab move. We switch out on the Protect, which is really nice. I didn't want to waste the last shot of Focus Blast that we had on Umbreon to not Oko. Just didn't want to deal with it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and deal with Umbreon the best way I know how, which is Toxic. If you can Toxic Stall, you can do a lot of damage. I don't think Dark Pulse on Mega Venusaur is really going to make the difference. He could have gone for Protect that second time and scouted out what I was going to do. Synchronize doesn't really work. Just because I am a Poison type, you can't Poison a Poison type, so I'm going to do alright here, and then you can see that with as little damage as he's going to be able to do, with Synthesis up, I'm going to be able to survive pretty well, and with Rock Blast and Bullet Seed, I don't see Cinccino really helping out, so I feel like we're in a good position. We're in an okay position. I know that he's not going to switch out into Cinccino because it's got 1 HP. We've got our Choice Scarf, Typhlosion, still alive. We're going to be okay. We just have to wait it out. Weather the storm and deal with it. But so far, I think we've got this in control. I'm trying to wrap my head around what we've got available. Umbreon is usually a Toxic Staller. Dark Pulse is not doing enough against Mega Venusaur. He's got Moonlight, so he can stall us out a little bit. But eventually it's going to start getting to the point where we can just use Synthesis, regenerate our HP. I'm trying to wrap my head around if there's anything that we can do to lose this game at this point. At this point, with 3-ish Pokemon alive, it's really 1.5. It really is 1.5 Pokemon at this point. I'm trying to figure out how we lose this game, because I don't want to fall victim to that. We are faster than Umbreon. He's got Protect, he's got Dark Pulse, he's got Moonlight, and he's probably got Toxic. I think we're alright. Because he's got the Lefties, but Lefties won't protect him from Toxic after a while. And then we've got Cinccino with Rock Blast, Knock Off. You can't knock off the Mega Stone, which I think is weird. I think you should be able to knock off a Mega Stone. I think you should be able to thief a Mega Stone. Yeah, it would be really weird if you kept it at the end of the battle, but I feel like preventing Mega Evolutions should be a thing. You should be allowed to do that. I don't agree with that decision from Nintendo. But so far, I feel like we've cleared out the majority of the threats. We still have our Typhlosion alive. We should be okay. I think. Alright, next turn on Toxic. That Umbreon should be dead. I don't want to say that we've got this, because I'm a little worried about it. But I'm trying to figure out why I'm worried about it. I'm going to go for Synthesis, try and get his HP all the way back up. I know that he could switch out Umbreon basically at any point, restart that Toxic counter. Because when you switch out and switch back in, it used to be that it would switch to normal Poison, but in Gen 6 that changed. I believe it was Gen 6, it might have been back in Gen 5. I didn't play a whole lot of competitive back in Gen 5. But it used to be that it would become normal Poison and then you'd switch back in and take that neutral Poison damage. But now it's still Toxic damage, so it's badly poisoned, but, here's the big but, the counter starts over. Alright, Tail Slap, not going to do enough. Whew, I think we got this. I think we're good. GG indeed.